This past Thursday, our platform took a stand saying we will no longer cover Ye until he apologizes to black people for his hurtful words. While on Drink Champs, West said George Floyd died from fentanyl use instead of under the knee of Derek Chauvin, and then was met with a $250 million lawsuit by the family of Floyd because of his defaming comments. On Friday evening, West spoke with paparazzi and finally apologized. West said, "So when I questioned the death of George Floyd, it hurt my people. I want to apologize. Because God has showed me by what Adidas is doing, by what the media is doing, I know what it feels like to have a knee on my neck right now. So thank you, God, for humbling me and letting me know how it really felt."
Now, before we get to today's topic, don't forget early voting has started. Voting is not the only answer, but it's a powerful tool we have for change, so don't waste it. If you're in Georgia and you need a ride to the polls, call the People's Agenda at 877-524-8683.
Today we have our comedy hype analyst, Pierre, in the studio, along with Capone calling in, along with a very special guest, our very own CEO and founder, John Abba. But before we dive into today's conversation, let's take a look at this clip.
In America, black people don't take all the rights that we have that are actually given to us because we weren't given what we were promised in the first place, which was the 40 acres. 20 million blacks died to abortion, and it is our time now. Blacks are coming into money. We are not scared anymore. And I showed you that I crossed that line. And if it meant they had to take me and drag me like Emmett Till in front of everyone because I whistled. So when I said that and I questioned the death of George Floyd, it hurt my people. It hurt the black people. So I want to apologize to hurting them because right now God has shown me by what Adidas is doing and by what the media is doing, I know how it feels to have a knee on my neck now.
Now, this would be one of the apologies that we know. We've seen a series of apologies where he's apologized to the Jews, and now we hear him apologizing, to the black community. So, Pierre, I'll start with you. How do you feel about Kanye's apology? I know it was a lot, but, how do you feel?
Yeah, there was some good in there, and there was some stuff. It was a lot. I mean, I think he's still going through a lot mentally, because it's not like this. It's a lot of up and down. Like the thing to say, Planned Parenthood, and I mean, I think I'm for a woman's right to choose. So it sounded like he didn't want black people, kids to be aborted. I hear you, but I still there's a right for a woman to choose. So I guess he might be anti-abortion. Maybe he's only anti-black abortion. I don't know. It's just a lot in that thing right there, and I think he's coming to his senses. Let's just say that it's just not stealth and straight. It's just this is his first time, so he's probably going to apologize some more. Yeah. And to say, and I know it's a figurative speech, but he thinks he being dragged like Emmett Till. I mean, okay, brother, you're still alive. Emmett Till's not alive. George Floyd, knee on his neck. Come on, brother. I get what you're trying to say, but you're still losing it a little bit. You're still connected 100% with this. Is people are dying. You ain't dead. You lost some money. You can make some money again and be happy in another a year or two. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. These people you're talking about cannot do that. They're dead now. So I don't know, figurative of speech, I guess, but he just sometimes he's wordy, and I think he's just confused right now. But.
Absolutely. Capone, let me bring you in. I'd love to get your thoughts. After seeing that, what do you think about Kanye's apology to the black community?
Well, I think that, like Pierre said, there was a lot being said. It was just too much jumping around, apologizing. Why you got to compare? I really don't care for the apology. Whatever's said, people think that the wounds will be healed if you say you're sorry. I mean, no, it was a lot said, and a lot being, they also said that he told Floyd's, peoples that if they sued him, that they were going to have some problems. People are not talking about that too much. They try to pull it down. But another outlet showed the email of him emailing them, telling them how he supported them, how he sent money, and how he did this, and now they want to sue him. So be careful. If you sue me, you're going to have some problems. That's what he said. So apology.
Absolutely, and I think exactly what you're referring to is a post that Kanye made on his page where he posted a picture, I want to say, of whether it was a relative of George Floyd, and pretty much just calling her out and saying that, I think you make a great point. Now, first and foremost, I do want to thank our CEO and founder for joining us today. So thank you so much for joining in on this conversation, as I do think it's a hefty one. Now, before I come to you, I do want to read a statement that was put out on behalf of the platform, and then I want to come back and get your thoughts. So it says, our platform will no longer cover Kanye until that happens. Kanye needs to apologize to Black people. To watch Kanye West and others alike make comments at the expense of Black people without direct consequences ends today. We are making a stand and demanding an apology from Kanye West, not because we're hurt, but out of principle. We are not a joke. We are not to be disregarded with ease. We lifted you and others up in time of need and can no longer allow you to use us as collateral. If you chose not to, it only will serve as an example that we don't respect ourselves. To Black people, it's time for true self-respect and self-love. Disrespect to you can no longer be the norm, whether you show it by boycotting or by stop promoting the promotion of these offenders. It's time we draw the line. If we don't show that we respect ourselves, why would others? Disrespect is a choice. Signed, John Abba, founder of Hype Plus. Now, I want to come to you and ask, what was that decision? Why did you decide to call Ye out?
I mean, there was a line in there that just talked about principle. Like, he was just out of line for what he was saying. And you knew he was out of line based off his apology to another community. And he was already like offending us constantly in terms of when he said, "Make America Great Again" hats, the White Lives Matter t-shirt, and then even with the death of George Floyd, that caused a lot of people pain in our community. And he never apologized for that, but he was quick to apologize to another community. So I think that we gotta sometimes put these Black entertainers on notice, that you come from our platforms, we braise you up, but then you jump ship when you get on. So that was kind of like the stance of like the principle that I thought we should make.
And I do like that because the Ye supporters will say something like, he ain't saying nothing wrong, but did he say something wrong about the Jews? Because he apologized to them. You know what I'm saying? Where's that? And if he ain't saying nothing wrong to them, but he still apologized, then why can't you accept him apologizing to the Black community? Black folks.
And I want to respond to the clip. Ye is, he said some half-truths. Some things is on point, some things is not on point. But it's hard for me to overlook the question if someone could be a pro-Black man and sleep with white women. Seems like it's in business terms, a conflict of interest. I think that's why we like Malcolm X, because he walked what he preached, and we respect people like that, and I don't think Ye does a great job in doing that. So how can he push for Black progression, but also not offend his white lover, unless there's someone that's like okay with our progression, and that could be an ally of sorts. But I just think that it just seems like a conflict of interest that it doesn't seem like it fully aligns.
I'd love to get your thoughts, Capone. When you saw this statement, or if this is your first time seeing it, I'm pretty sure not, because there were a lot of feedback and a lot of people in the comments. But what were your thoughts when you saw this statement, and did you agree with it when you first saw John post it?
No, I didn't agree with it. Only because there are so many others before Kanye that talk very bad about us Black people. Why do we not bring up white people in here that talks, says these things about us? And to me, it got a lot of back feedback when Kanye was down. We kind of like pushed him down a lot more especially from the comments, like, are we a Jewish network, or do white men own us, and all of that type of stuff, because it was made so like thrusting into the media. Well, we're not going to support Kanye anymore because he said a lot of bad things about Black people. There's plenty of other people before him, and we never took that stand before. So it definitely threw me off.
What he just said, but we expect white people to talk bad about Black people. So why do I care if white people have been talking bad about Black people? We don't have to talk about them. We know what they do. Mm-hmm. But when they want us to talk about us, then it is a difference. Kanye is a big person. I was cool with it. Kanye is a big light. When you want to get your thing out there, sometimes you attach yourself to the biggest thing. No different than when Michael Vick got caught for dog. He wasn't the first one dog fighting, but he's the biggest one. So you jump on him and get your message out there if that's what you're against. So I think when I saw it, I was cool with it because I seen what was happening. We're trying to attach ourselves to a big, John was saying, a big fish to talk and say, all right, we had enough of this. So we'll talk about the biggest one and enough of all of us,
right,
opposed to talking about some smaller ones and saying, I have a problem with it. Because then we'd be talking every week. This guy's, Kanye is pretty big, so he latched on to the biggest thing, which we know people do, to say, I'm tired. And I'm thinking again, he'll tell himself, I'm tired of all of it.
Right.
It's Kanye, but we're tired of all of y'all talking. Right. And we go to the top and go down. And so I had no problem with it. I understood where it came from.
Yeah. So let me bring you in, John, and get your thoughts, because there were a lot of comments. There were people in the comments. I want to read one later, but first I want to give you an opportunity to respond here, because the question is, a lot of people do feel like, why did you single out Kanye and not others? Like, there are so many people that could have been singled out, but why Kanye?
To answer Capone, like, why would I need to address somebody that's already showed you what type of time they on? And I think with Kanye, it was just more so of like us setting a code about how we conduct ourselves with each other. And I think that, people talk about other communities that are ultimately going at Kanye, but I think they're also giving us an example of like how you set the tone, how you demand respect. Like, they cut his lights off. And that's some type of principles that we should be probably having. They got enough sense to be like, you disrespecting me, I'm gonna shut your shit down. And I think that we as black people, we need to get into that type of time of like, yo, you disrespect us, we gonna shut you down, no matter who you are. And the thing about it with Ye, Capone, I can't necessarily do something. We have no real influence in a white infrastructure. What I do have is a power and a platform to be like, you know what, we're not gonna spotlight you no more, right? But Ye has his infrastructure built in white organizations and businesses so they can flex their power when it comes to business. And then when it came down to Ye, it's just the fact that that's a power move that I could actually do.
Right.
He doesn't do business with us, but what we do, we are influential people. That's one thing we got as black folks. We're influential. We make shit move. That's our power, I feel like, in this country. If we decide, you know what, we just not gonna promote you no more, then they no longer hot. And I think that's what Malcolm X had, the ballot or the bullet. I think our thing is more so the ballot or you gonna get blacklisted, Yeah. And that's kind of like, I think, our power when it comes down to influence.
Now, there's a lot of, and I think it's good to address this, right? Like, there's a lot of backlash that comes to the platform. I'll read one comment. I'll read one comment pertaining to this, but I'd love for you to, of course, get your reaction from this, but just the backlash that we get from comments either way. So a user kind of agrees and says, delete this, bro, LOL. All of this, all these celebrity and instances you chose this, it's not giving. Love the platform, but it's a no for us. So, of course, this is pertaining just to this situation, but as a whole, we get a lot of backlash here. What are your thoughts and reactions to this?
I mean, upon reflecting on the post, man, it was kind of an eye-opening thing, where the state of some of us are. I say some of us get it. Some of us get what type of stance I'm making, but some of us are sick. Slavery, I'm sure, has done a number on us when they strip you of your value of yourself. And you don't have no true identity. And I think that we as black people have been fighting to figure out a collective identity over the years. So the backlash that we get at times, particularly when I made that statement, is what was eye-opening was that all I did was say, hey, Pierre, that person disrespected you. And your response was being mad at me for trying to stand up for you. So how sick can you maybe be if I'm pointing out your offender? And I think we kind of operate that way. Because that's all I was saying in that statement is like, hey, this man owes you an apology. He disrespected you. He's apologizing to other people. Now, I could see if Kanye wasn't apologizing to nobody, I respect that. But when you start issuing out apologies, you need to go tell the people over there that you disrespected first. So why are y'all mad at someone saying, hey, he disrespected you? But I think sometimes that we are so used to being in a norm of toxicity and dysfunction in our own homes that we just think that's the normal, and that's not normal. So the criticism that we get, it's unfortunate, but I also ask, isn't this what y'all say y'all wanted? Y'all say y'all wanted a black platforms and people doing their thing, and this is what we got every day here. You see number of black people in our studio. So that's number of black people that work for here, number of black people that write here. So that's what we're doing with our power. So regardless of the comments, whatever power that we are getting, we're using it in a strategic way to be able to push our people. And I think that's just something that, like, I would respond to that. Like, we're by example.
Absolutely. No, I think you make a great point there. And thank you so much for even explaining that, because, you don't have to. Now, of course, the question is, we've heard from Kanye, he's issued this apology. And now it's, do you accept the apology? What are your thoughts? So, Pierre, I'll start with you. After hearing from Kanye, seeing everything unfold, do you accept his apology?
Well, to me, his apology wasn't thorough, and it wasn't stealthy, to the point. But I do accept that he's moving forward in that, knowing his, the mistakes he's made or the hurt he's applied on the black community. So I do accept that, but I think it just needs to be said a little differently. And this is his first time out with it. He's mumbling and jumbling with it, shit. But once he sits down with his white people, they'll tell him how to speak to black people.
Capone, let me bring you in. get that same question for you, Capone. What are your thoughts? Now that we've heard from Kanye West, we've seen things unfold over time, and now he's issued an apology. Do you accept it, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think that even with the great explanation that John had, as far as being, the black outlet, I still think that we're too forgiving. And, we brought it up. Nobody's really expressing how sick Kanye is. It's only, it's like a jump. You keep jumping back and forth. And the man needs help. He needs help. And I think that nobody's addressing that. You just don't come up and say, we don't even know who his supportive team that can help him stop making these statements. Stay off social media. Just shut up. Why ain't nobody just tell him, shut the hell up? And, some things die down or whatever. Even us, we talked about this, Thursday or Friday? And here it is Monday. And we're right back on talking about Kanye again. So because he made an apology and everybody else who makes an apology, we're so forgiving as black people to allow these things to happen. They're going to keep abusing us. They're going to keep doing what they're doing and saying that they're sorry. We're sorry that we treated you this way. We're sorry that we did this. And so if we're going to take a stand for something, let's stick by it. Let's not just be forgiving all the time and make things happen. And I don't agree with it. I don't agree with Kanye's apology, and I don't agree with us taking a stand and then dropping the stand 2 days later.
Right. Well, I hear a lot of people say, why don't his team help him out? Do we not understand who Kanye is? A guy who goes on stage and grabs something from somebody, a micro award. Someone says, right in the middle of a telethon, says president, whatever. He's uncontrollable around his team. Let's be honest with that. So there's nobody in his team that can tell him chill. I mean, he's Kanye West doing what he does. So it's going to have to come from him, and the pain has to be like you're saying. We have to say, Kanye, you're wrong. You're wrong. He has to hear that. We have to be, unfortunately, his mother. Probably what his mother would have said. We as black society got to say, bro, calm down with that. Stop it. Stop it. Because the people around him ain't going to say it, you know what I'm saying? They don't have the power, but we aren't connected to him financially, whatever. We can say what the hell we want to him by saying that's wrong, that's wrong. So I think he doesn't have a team that does that. We around, like what it says, a village, it takes a village to raise a kid. Yeah, we have to be the village around him. Say, you got to stop this, brother. At least towards us, stop it. And I think that is what's starting to hit him in the head. He's starting to realize that. And again, like Capone said, we're apologetic. Yes, we are a more calmer people than society makes us. It makes us seem like we're savages and we kill each other and all that. But inside, if you're in a black community, you know how it is. We're loving. Yeah. That's what we do. We'll slap you in the butt and say, come on, man, come in the house. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about you, make you cry, say, oh, y'all, stop making them cry. Come on, man, you with us again. Yeah. That's what we are as nature. We ain't gonna stop that. So we are apologetic. And we got, look how we did white folks with slavery. Damn it, we hit them in the head every time we see them for what they've done. But that's who we are as a people. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're gonna do with Kanye. We want to hear him say something good and want to be on his side and bring him back into our fold. Right. We do love him at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Even though he said some crazy stuff.
And I think that's a perfect opportunity to bring you in, because on the platform, specifically our Instagram, we would accept the apology via Instagram. So I'd love to know, what led you to that decision? Why did you choose to accept the apology from Ye?
Well, yeah. Before I answer that, I want to kind of anchor back to Capone's sentiments that he just put down. I do think there needs to be an understanding of what code we have when we come down to forgiving people. So I do agree with you on that. And you made a statement earlier about like why call out Kanye. Africans sold other Africans to slavery and slavery. Just because someone looks like you doesn't mean they won't hurt you. And I think it's important that we sometimes spotlight people that may hurt us. With Kanye, I'm never saying that he's not a great person or what he does. He's super talented, but with his approach when it comes down to wearing the Make America Great Again hat, wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt, talking about George Floyd, that's confusion. in terms of like the way I see it. Like it's confusing as a black person. He gives you these little cliff notes, and you know how it'd be worded and stuff, and you'd be like leaving like, what? Yeah. But he might have a deeper meaning to it. But I'll keep it a buck, you know, confused greatness has no destination.
Dropping dimes right now, boy. Jewels, boy.
So like no matter like how like, you know, great he is, but if he's moving all kind of way, then where are we going? And I think that's what is concerning to me about people looking at Ye as if he's like Ali. Someone even tweeted our account trying to compare him to Ali. I'm like, you out your damn mind. You're confusing us. Leadership doesn't confuse. Leadership is very clear on what the agenda is. And we all know that whether we're running our own businesses, we know about clear agendas. And I think Kanye just being this creative person, he's just everywhere. He's an artist. He's an artist too. So he's like, he's all up in his, he can't really give us that true leadership that we need. But I also don't condemn the black folks that latch onto him. So I'm not mad at you, as Pac would say, because I understand that you're questioning leadership. They want direction. We listen to so many fugazi people that are leading our people every which way, but our people are tired. When the last time we seen true leadership in our community? And every time we get leadership, they take them out. You know, I got Nipsey on my shirt. To me, he was like somebody that was giving us some game, laying down foundation, showing us like what direction we need to do. And we don't see that often. And so back into like the statement of the apology, I think that true leadership, to talk about leadership, has an ounce of grace, you know? Some real good leadership has an ounce of grace. And of course, there's like strategy that we want to also be a part of the conversation as a platform. We want to have a sense of relevancy. But think about it, man. Like, I think in our personal lives, that's the right thing to do. That felt like the right thing to do, is that when someone says, hey, I'm sorry, because I know I messed up. And I know I've asked for forgiveness. And the best thing that someone could do is say, I forgive you. But I'm not saying that we rocking with him, though, Capone. I'm not saying that, like, we about to drop some Yeezy hypes. I'm not saying that. We're just saying we heard you, you know, appreciate that, but we're going to keep it pushing, too. So I'm not saying, like, we about to be, like, Team Kanye. That's not what we're saying at all. We're just saying that I think the right thing to do is give a little bit of grace and keep it pushing.
I remember Lil Wayne making those same comments. I remember Lil Wayne putting on that same hat that Kanye put on. I remember Lil Wayne saying that he don't have black fans. He only deal with white people. We never brought that up. We never said anything about Lil Wayne and how he pretty much turned his back on the community and how he went to visit Trump. Same steps that Kanye said, but his things weren't as, I would say, out of tune this time. Kanye says a lot of stuff that's out of tune. He does a lot of contradictions. But Wayne put it straightforward. You know, I'm going to see Trump, and I voted for Trump, and I wear my hats, and yeah, what y'all think?
No, I hear you.
No, I think you make a great point, but I think, you know, just being able to start somewhere that was kind of, you know, stated and then, you know, take a stand from there, because there have been a lot of people I think we can name that have said something, some ridiculous things. So again, I appreciate y'all for chiming in on this topic. Of course, before we head out, I'd like to know what you have coming up. So Capone, I'm going to start with you. What do you have coming up? And my favorite part, how can people follow you?
I am taking over Harlem. I'm doing this club in Harlem, Harlem's Comedy Club. And I got 4 shows coming up. And also you can find me on Instagram, Comedian Capone. Follow me there and make sure you're positive. And if you cannot spell the word, please don't follow me.
Pierre, I'll kick it over to you. What do you have coming up and how can people follow you?
No, this Friday, November 4th, I'll be in Birmingham, Alabama at the Stardome. Get them tickets at the Stardome. So if you're in Alabama, holla at your boy. I'll be there, man. It's going to be a great show. My man, Sir Walter's on the show. It's going to be a really good show. Some of y'all been seeing me wear this flying flashy gear, okay? My man Troy Gathers from 1670, you know, responses, and he does it. And he's a generous kind of guy too. So he decided to give do the Oprah Winfrey thing where we got one for you, you know, in white. We got an extra large for you, Capone. We ain't left Capone out. We got another black extra large for Capone, another shirt, a jacket. We got one for the owner. That's right, the owner, CEO right there. He got one. You got another black one. And this is for Yamanique right here, girl. My girl Yamanique got. So it's a black-owned company. A brother named Troy Gathers. It's called 1670. This is the brand, man. He's a good brother. He's out here getting this thing out, man. And he decided to make these things for us, man. So I really appreciate that. You know, shout out to Troy, man. So yeah.
Big shout out to Troy.
Yeah. So thank you. So yep, we got him. So we're gonna rock him. We're gonna see him. And the black ones are dope too. Let me pull out the black one. Damn. I'm gonna show you the black one. Look at that black one. That black one got that fire. That fire. That jacket. The front of it like this, okay, the fire. No, y'all can't get these, all right out there. Don't be hating, fire. And then everybody don't be making a lot of shit for us to be putting on here, okay? Just for Troy, okay? So I know we get all kind of stuff.
No, I love that.
And I appreciate, hold on, and thank you for sitting in here, brother, for real, man. You know, you're really behind the scenes all the time, but I'm glad you sat down and spoke up, man. And, you know, so people got a chance to see who you are, so I respect that, man. I know you ain't really a camera guy, but you're feeling it now. It's getting, how's it feel the first time out?
It's cool. I think that it's just about timing. Okay. It's just timing, you know, I'm not, I'm trying to handle business behind the scenes, but it is about time, and I feel like right to be able to speak on some of the things that I think our platform represents.
Definitely do appreciate you joining specifically on this topic because it's a big one and one we've been talking about for a long time. And, you know, even we were getting antsy, like, man, we're tired of talking about it. So for you to join it today, we do appreciate it. But, of course, I'm going to ask you as well, you know, what do you have coming up? And I don't know if I should say how should people follow you because you're just going to say Comedy Hype. But, you know, how do people follow you?
Man, this was a great discussion. You know, I think this is one that's always needed. And I think that's why we, like, ultimately are trying to push for conversations like this. You know, our content is constantly expanding. Case in point, we got Pierre's special coming out. So look out for that streamer that we've been working tirelessly on to make sure it gets right, make sure it looks good. But Pierre will be the first major thing coming from the streamer in this November. So that's going to be huge. And then as far as like some initiatives happening right here in Atlanta, break-ins, man, car break-ins. That's annoying as hell, you know? So what we did here at Hype Plus, you know, we're gonna kick off an initiative where we're gonna create our own car breaking patrol in the neighborhood. We're gonna start with our neighborhood first. So if you guys have a chance to support this, it is called blacknights.com. That's BLKKNIGHTS, Black Nights. You'll probably see it on the screen. And this whole game plan is to really kind of create some presence on the streets when it comes down to car break-ins, because I don't think nobody fuck with a car break-in person. I don't think nobody rock with them. Even the dope boys, is like, no, y'all chill out, you know. But I think that that's like one of the major things that we're pushing. And just in conclusion, you know, when you look underneath our hood, I think we've always been on code as a company. Like on the surface, people have these headlines about us, but in terms of practice, man, we've been on point. You know, and so hopefully this is me popping up the hood a little bit so y'all can see some of the mentality that's behind the brand, so you don't have to have your own like confusion and trying to figure out what we're trying to do. And hopefully you now know that we're definitely about that life. So
absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us and dropping gems and stones and all good stuff. Before we head out, Capone, I know you wanted to add something, so I'll let you add out before we close up.
Just want to add that this weekend we lost some great pioneers in comedy, and one of the young ladies, Dirty South from Atlanta, and Nard from Atlanta, and Courtney G, very powerful comedians who lost their lives this weekend, and Nard lost his life last week. So just want to pay respect to those comedians and let them, let the people know that the families that we, feel sorry and are in support of them.
Absolutely. We definitely send our condolences on behalf of Comedy Hype. So thank you so much, Capone, for bringing that up. Again, thank you guys for chiming in on this topic. John, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Hopefully it's not the last time. But you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about Ye apologizing to Black people? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Please put it in the comments.
Don't forget, early voting has started. Voting is not the only answer, but it's a powerful tool we have for change, so don't waste it. If you're in Georgia and you need a ride to the polls, call the People's Agenda at 877-524-8683.
What's up, y'all? This is your boy K-Rob, and for years, you come to us to get the latest news in comedy and for your favorite comedians. Now you come to us for even more news in the world of sports, music, and pop culture. We're bringing you some of our classic shows you love, like Unforgotten, the Comedy Hype News Show, and more of our one-on-one interviews. We're more than just laughs. We're the culture, the leaders in truth, and well, your streamer just got a little more blacker. Welcome to Hype Plus.